The Googleyness, influencing without authority answer that sounds great, but fails the hiring committee member. The reason most candidates fail this specific question is that they prove they won the argument, and in doing so, they prove they never genuinely engage with the engineering team's objection. The question is, tell me about a time you had to influence a team to adopt a technical approach they were resistant to. This question is testing Googleyness, specifically the influencing without authority dimension, which at Google means driving alignment across teams who don't report to you by building genuine buy-in, not by overriding dissent. What the hiring committee member is actually listening for is whether your own thinking changed through this process, because that is the signal that separates a hire from a strong hire. Here is how most candidates answer this question about influencing a resistant engineering team.
We were migrating a critical data pipeline to a new streaming architecture, and the engineering team wanted to stay with the existing batch system. I put together a detailed technical doc comparing latency, throughput, and operational overhead, and I presented it in their weekly sync. A few engineers were skeptical, so I set up a separate working session and walked through the trade-offs again. Ultimately, the team agreed to move forward with the streaming approach. The migration shipped on schedule and reduced end-to-end latency by about 40%.
Objection treated as an obstacle to overcome, not a signal to investigate. No evidence candidate engaged with the specific technical concern raised. Influence framed as repeated presentation, not collaborative problem solving. Candidate's own position never evolved. Asymmetric intellectual humility. Here is what I am writing in the debrief right now. Item 1. Candidate represented their position. No evidence of genuine inquiry into the engineering objection. Item 2. Resistance framed as a communication problem, not a substantive technical signal worth investigating. Item 3. No moment where candidate's own approach or assumptions were revised based on team input. Item 4. Outcome shows compliance, not alignment. Team agreed. Unclear if they were actually convinced. Verdict: does not demonstrate Googleyness. Influencing without authority. Same question, same migration scenario. Listen to where this candidate's focus goes the moment the engineering team pushes back.
We were migrating a critical data pipeline to a streaming architecture. The engineering team pushed back. They were concerned that our downstream consumers weren't designed to handle out-of-order event delivery, which would introduce correctness bugs we couldn't easily test for. That was a real concern I hadn't fully worked through. I paused the decision, spent 2 days with 2 of their senior engineers mapping the consumer contracts, and we identified 3 downstream systems that genuinely couldn't tolerate the change without a buffering layer. I revised the proposal to stage the migration, streaming for latency-tolerant consumers first, with a resequencing buffer added before we touched the correctness-sensitive ones. The team moved forward because the plan actually addressed their objection. We shipped in 2 phases over 11 weeks. End-to-end latency dropped 40% on Phase 1, and we had 0 correctness incidents in Phase 2. More importantly, I came out of that with a different understanding of how to scope a migration safely.
Candidate restated the engineering objection with technical precision, signals genuine understanding, explicitly paused their own position to investigate the concern, strong intellectual humility signal, revise the technical approach based on what they learned, own thinking changed, not just the team's. Outcome attributed to alignment on substance, not repeated persuasion. This is Googleyness. Notice what changed. It wasn't the team's position that moved first, it was the candidate's. Item 1. Candidate articulated the engineering objection with technical specificity, cites out-of-order event delivery and consumer correctness. Item 2. Paused their own recommendation to investigate, demonstrated intellectual humility under program pressure. Item 3. Revise the technical approach based on findings. Own thinking evolved, not just the team's behavior. Item 4. Alignment was earned on the merits of the revised plan. Influence without authority executed correctly. Verdict, strong signal, strong hire. Before your loop, run your story through these 3 questions. 1. Can you state the engineering team's objection in their own technical terms? If you can't, your story shows you overrode the objection. You didn't engage it. 2. Did your technical approach actually change as a result of what you learned? If the plan is identical to your original proposal, the hiring committee member sees compliance, not alignment. 3. Is there a specific moment where you decided to stop and investigate before proceeding? Without that pause, your story reads as repeated persuasion, not influencing without authority. If you answer no to all 3, your story is not demonstrating Googleyness. It is demonstrating that you are very good at winning arguments. How do your real stories score? Get a personalized report scored against the interview rubric Google uses for the TPM role, including Googleyness, technical depth, and cross-functional influence. Find it at interview101.com.